thumbnail is of Star Wars books. And I want to explain why they're all Star Wars books. A couple of months ago, I got really bored playing the game I was playing, so I decided to play SWTOR, which is Star Wars The Old Republic. And I was playing that for a while, and while I was playing with it, I just really, when I play a game, I have to have, like, good lore. Like, a great lore to a game will really get me excited to play a game. And when I was back in the day when I was playing World of Warcraft, I was really, like, all about the lore. You know, the background story to the game really got me excited and pumped to play it. So that's why I figured I would go and check out, like, a bunch of Star Wars books. So it would help me get me excited about, you know, playing this game. Which, honestly, I don't play nearly as much now because they kind of dumbed it down and made it so easy. So, like, now you can power level just, like, so quickly. And it's just not enjoyable anymore because it's not really much of a challenge. But I am still going to read the Star Wars books I did check out because, you know, hey, I mean, I enjoyed the Star Wars movies, and even though I'm not playing the game anymore, I think I'll still enjoy the books. Anyways, let's get on with this. The first Star Wars book I read this week was Darth Maul, Death Sentence. I saw this and I was like, dude, Darth Maul! I was, like, so pumped to read this, and then when I got into it, because, you know, if this isn't spoiling it, if you are a Star Wars fan and you've seen the prequels, you know that Darth Maul supposedly died. We thought he died. Okay, he was cut in half. Well, anyways, he comes back, and he has these robot legs. I saw that, and at first I was like, I just didn't know what to think of it. I was like, yeah, this guy is supposed to be badass, he's supposed to be scary, but then just, I don't know, the robot legs just kind of make him look like a giant demon grasshopper. I just couldn't get past the absurdity of how he looked. It was a decent story, it was okay. We were introduced to his brother, which I don't even recall his name. But it was a decent story, so I did rate this 3 out of 5 stars. It was okay. It was pretty cool to see, you know, that, hey, I mean, I was so excited just to learn that Darth Maul was still alive. So I thought that was cool. After that, I read Star Wars Dark Times, and this one is called Fire Carrier. I think this one is Volume 6. Yes, Volume 6. And while it does show Darth Vader on the cover, and this is the thing I've noticed from reading a lot of these Star Wars comics, is that usually main players are not the ones featured in the stories. I mean, yes, it did have Darth Vader in it, but mostly he was just like a side character. He was only in like maybe 3 pages of the book. Mostly this was just about a Jedi Master and his Padawans, like, fleeing to a faraway planet. So that was another reason why I just thought this was just okay. I rated this one also 3 out of 5 stars. It was enjoyable, but it wasn't as good as I anticipated it as being. After that, I read Star Wars Rebel Heist. And this one, yes, it features all these people on the cover. And this has to be the first Star Wars comic I read that actually, when it shows the people on the cover, actually featured those people. So I'm going to tell you straight out before I even get into this book, I did rate this one 4 out of 5 stars. Because it was actually, you know, what I was expecting I got from reading this. So this supposedly takes place just before The Empire Strikes Back. It's just after the events of A New Hope. And it's just like, just some rebel shenanigans. They're setting up different things and how they work together as a team. Even though you don't see them all together at one time, they're all kind of working behind the scenes as a team. So I thought that, the whole team dynamic of these characters, I thought it was pretty cool and interesting. And how they were able to convince people to switch sides, I thought was also very cool. So I absolutely love this book. If you have not checked out this one, definitely check out this one. It was really good. Okay, guys, up next we have Star Wars Dark Empire 1. This takes place immediately, I can't say immediately after Return of the Jedi, but it does take place after Return of the Jedi. And as you can see, the Emperor lives again. And I'm not going to spoil, how he happens to be living again. If you really want to find out how he comes back, you're going to have to read this. But anyways, this story, the artwork I thought was kind of weird. And this isn't the first time I've seen, a sci-fi comic do this, where they use these certain colors. They use a lot of purples and greens and yellows, and it just looks really kind of funky. And I'm not sure if it's always the same person who does that type of style, or if it was just a thing from the 80s or 70s or something. I'm not sure, but it just doesn't look that great. And anyways, it does feature the major players. It's got Luke, Leia, Han, and Chewie, and R2, and C-3PO, and even Lando Calrissian. But on the downside, it just kind of rushes through, and there's a lot of unanswered questions. I just felt like this was a very rushed story, and I just kept thinking to myself, how is it that this book has such a high rating on Goodreads? Because it has a 4 out of 5 star rating on Goodreads, and I think it was because this came out before there was any inclination that there was going to be any more films past Return of the Jedi. So I think people, Star Wars fans, were so hungry for, an ending that they were willing to just take whatever they could get their hands on. And I think that's what happened with this book, because in actuality, I just think this was an average read. It was just okay. Like I said, it did have a lot of loose ends. There were things that were mentioned that they just never elaborated on them. So yeah, I just thought this was a 3 out of 5 star book. It could have been much better told in a better way. It is what it is. Okay, I've got a stack to share with you guys because, let's just say make sure you get your flu shot, because I was kind of down for the count a good part of this week because I did not get a flu shot. I got the flu and I got pretty darn sick. Well, let's get on with this. The next book I have to share with you is Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi, Volume 3. This has to do 25,000 years before the Old Republic. So this is Star Wars prehistory. And I have to say, this was really cool to see, because it's before there were Sith and there were Jedi, but it was spelled differently. Jedi. It's kind of weird. But this was an interesting thing to see, these two parts of the Force, and how they were before, the Old Republic and the Empire and all that stuff. So I definitely enjoyed this. I guess the Sith Lords were called Force Hounds, and they were being manipulated by some other alien race. So it was really cool to see this. And I did rate this one 4 out of 5 stars. So it was really cool to see what Star Wars prehistory was. After that, I checked out Star Wars Infinities. And what Star Wars Infinities is, I'm not even going to show you the back cover to this, because all it is just text and color. But what Star Wars Infinities is, it is Dark Horse's What If series for Star Wars. And this one was on what if Luke Skywalker had died on Hoth when he got attacked by that snow beast thing. And Han had gone to Dagobah instead of him. So it was kind of interesting to see like a whole different, take. It was like cool. It was a cool what if story, and I thought the artwork was decent. It wasn't too bad. I think I only rated this one 3 out of 5 stars. It was cool concept, but I didn't think it was that great. After that, I read Star Wars Darth Vader and the Lost Command, Volume 1. Now, this one is another library-bound single edition, like single issue. And this one has to do with Darth Vader, like immediately after he gets the suit and becomes Darth Vader. It was kind of cool that this was focused on Darth Vader, which is what you don't tend to see that a lot in Star Wars comics. So I really enjoyed this, and I did rate this one 4 out of 5 stars. After that, I read Star Wars Legacy Extremes. This is volume 10. This one is supposed to take place 138 years after Return of the Jedi. One of the guys is Cade Skywalker. He's supposed to be one of Luke Skywalker's descendants, I guess. But in all honesty, I really didn't enjoy this. It has to do with some scientists working for the Empire and creates some planet-killing virus, and it seemed like it was too muddled and all over the place. Like, I just couldn't get into it. I didn't know any of these new characters, even though the prehistory one, I didn't know those characters, but it still was an easier read and more enjoyable than this. I really was not feeling this. I know a lot of people really enjoyed this series, but I really wasn't feeling it. I only rated this one 2 out of 5 stars. You may like it. I honestly didn't like it, but you may like this. I mean, I just didn't like it myself. After that, and the last book for this wrap-up, I read Star Wars Tag and Bink We're Here. This one is a parody, and it's kind of comical because what happens are these two Republic guys, or Republic soldiers, and it starts out with the New Hope, and they're on this ship where Princess Leia gets captured, and it was just kind of comical because these guys are always in the right place at the wrong time, and shenanigans ensue, and I thought it was kind of funny, and they throw in other little sci-fi references here and there, like you'll see a Battlestar Galactica trooper in one scene, or different little funny things like that. So I really enjoyed this. It's for the less serious Star Wars fan. You got to be able to laugh at a lot of this. It's just, it was just the funny light side of the Star Wars comics. I really enjoyed this, and I did rate this one 4 out of 5 stars. I had a lot of fun putting together this. I don't really do too many themed comic book reviews, so it was kind of fun to do this because I showed so many different varieties of Star Wars comics. Like, I didn't even realize before I started reading this that there were that many varieties. I knew that there were different periods, but I didn't know there were funny ones and that there were what-if ones. So I had a lot of fun doing this, and I do plan on reading some more Star Wars comics in the near future. One thing is, I'm kind of in a gaming slump. Yeah, I'm not in a reading slump. I've never been in a reading slump, but I'm in a gaming slump. I don't think I'm going to go back to playing Star Wars The Old Republic because for the reasons I explained in the beginning of this. But, hey, if you guys can think of a cool game that you enjoy that maybe you could recommend to me, let me know down below. If you're not already a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button so that way I can continue to introduce you guys to new comics every week. Thanks for watching. Until next time, later guys.